All right, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about practical aesthetics. Have you ever wondered, have you ever wanted a step-by-step program, a technique to easily teach you how to act? I mean, look at the book. Looks like that small, right? I think it's like what is this? Less than 100 pages. Today we're going to be talking about the who, why, what, where, and how, as we always do in these videos. And we're going to start with the what. We're going to define practical aesthetics. Practical aesthetics can be defined as the no-nonsense, simple, pragmatic approach to acting technique. Created by David Mamet and William H. Macy, they wanted this approach because he's been all about simplicity, right? I don't know if you're familiar with his plays. He's done Glengarry Glen Ross, he's done Oleana, he's done American Buffalo, and he's known for something called Mamet Speak, which if you haven't read it, I'll include a link below to an excerpt of his text. But it's very simple, it's very straightforward. Something very important to note is that David Mamet is full-blown Aristotelian here. He believes that the playwright is the king. It's not the director, it's not the producer, it's not the actor, it's the playwright. And that everyone should be serving the playwright's vision. It was also heavily influenced by Stanislavski and Sanford Meisner, as well as a Stoic philosopher named Epictetus. He believed that you can only control things, limited things, right? You can control your perspective on the world. You can control your words. You can control your actions to an extent. But you can't control things like your reputation in the community, right? You can't control things like your body. You can't control whether or not you have like cancer. And you can't, most importantly, you can't control what other people think of you. And you can't control what other people do. And so that's such an important part of the practical aesthetics technique is that the other actor you should be putting your attention, your full attention on the other actor in order to get what you want from that other person. You need to be using and doing things to achieve your objective, right? And this is not new. One of the criticisms of the practical aesthetics technique is that it's a watered down Meisner or it's a watered down Stanislavski. One of the selling points here on this technique is that anyone can do it, right? You focus on these certain things. Don't worry about talent. Talent is not an issue, right? Because that's something you can't control, just like Epictetus said, right? That what you should be focusing is on the hard work, is on studying, is on memorizing every single word perfectly, so that you can go into the space and perform spontaneously. The main hub for studying here at the moment is the Atlantic Theater Company in New York City. There are really two main things that if you're studying it, you're going to be working on. You're going to be working on repetition and you're going to be working on text analysis. Those are a huge portion of the training that goes involved in here. So if you've ever studied Meisner before, it's pretty similar, but also there's a heavy emphasis on the text analysis here. How can you implement this technique into your craft? I'm going to go over two of the main pillars here. For the text analysis, one of them is physical action. An action must, here we go, be physically capable of doing, be fun to do, be specific, have its test in the other person, not be an errand, not presuppose any physical or emotional state, not be manipulative, have a cap, and number 9, be in line with the intentions of a playwright. What is physical action? How do we determine physical action? All these sort of stuff here. So how do we determine, what are we doing? That is where text analysis comes in. So important in this. It all comes from the playwright. Everything that you can find, everything you need is inside of the play. There are three major questions here that you need to ask as an actor when you are analyzing a script. And those three questions are, what is the character literally doing? What is the essential action of what the character is doing in the scene? Okay. Number three, what is the action like to me? In other words, it's as if blank. Classic Stanislavski here. And both of these basically are addressing the same thing, right? We're talking about objective here. We're talking about how you can make your objective as strong and as meaningful as possible. Let's take a look at the classic character Stanley from Streetcar Named Desire. We're going to be looking at the scene where he's yelling, Stella! And we're going to be taking the text analysis and analyzing the scene. The first question here, what is the character literally doing? Well, Stanley is, and this is in the book, by the way, he is screaming for Stella to come home to him. Right? Pretty simple. You want to make it as simple as possible in one sentence. This is something that pretty much anyone who is approaching the role should have roughly around the same answer there. And here's the next question. What is the essential action of what the character is doing in this scene? This is what the book, one option for this question. To beg a loved one's forgiveness. What is the action, essential action? To beg. Once again, not new, not revolutionary ideas happening here. It removes all of the other stuff that a lot of other techniques include, stuff like sense memory, substitution. You play the action. You play the objective here. And some variations could be right. This example is to beg. You could use to grovel. You could use things like to bully. You could change. It's infinite, and that's all you. That's all you and the artist's crafts here. What you're going to do and what sort of actionable adverbs you can put in here to make it your own. The last question here is, what is the action like to me? And this is the most personal of the questions here, and we'll talk about it. Their answer, and whoever wrote this is giving you their opinion, and it's as if I broke my mother's prized family heirloom, and she threw me out of the house. To be allowed back in the house, I must beg for her forgiveness. When you put yourself in that circumstance, that as if you're all of a sudden, oh, I understand where Stanley's coming from. I understand what it means to beg for someone's forgiveness, right? Now that's another crucial part about this technique. They don't want you to be saying your as-ifs exactly what it is in the play. They don't want you to be using a very similar situation, putting yourself in Stanley's actually situation. They want you to be doing something similar in your own life, something that you can relate to, that you've actually gone through, right? So for me, I could say something like, I lost my job and I need to beg my boss for my job back, or else I'll lose my child because I have to pay child support. I need to make a scenario and apply that to Stanley's situation. And I need to use the same adverbs and essential action as what I've identified in the text analysis, okay? That's sort of in a very, very brief nutshell of what practical aesthetics is. It's essentially really fleshing out your objective and really playing that and believing that acting is the objective and not worrying about all these other, like figuring out, oh, what did that table mean to me 4 years ago when I bought it at a flea market and said hi to a dude with a mustache wearing a fedora. What? It's not worried about all these little tiny, it's worrying about just focusing on the other person, working moment to moment with the other actor and playing that objective. Once again, not new, not radical. I'm sure you've heard this before, but it's worth classifying it as a technique because because it is a method of approaching it. And believing that acting can be that simple. And that is also, I will add this in here, that is a criticism of this, is that some actors believe that this technique is actually anti-actor. It believes that anyone can be an actor, right? Anyone can just pick this up and follow these steps, and all of a sudden you're acting. That's what acting is. Find a clip on YouTube or any other social media place and post the link down below with answering those 3 questions, which I will include in the description below in the video. Answer the 3 questions, and I will go through all of them and give you my feedback and maybe tweak some if I feel like they can be changed. But in the meantime, I'm going to beg for you to like and share this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.